Order will stand for pledge allegiance to a moment of silence. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Please be seated.
Anyway,
Yes,
have you recorded how many times you've said the Pledge of Allegiance in a year?
I guess
At least 12.
didn't know I was trying to set a record or anything, you know. Just I would say it all started in the next room, first grade.
Probably.
That's where it started.
Okay.
Yeah. Good many
Got a
years
lot of
ago.
history here.
Good many years ago.
It started over there for me, only it was Jane Rohr that taught me.
Yep.
Well, if you go out there in the hallway and see the teeth mark in the railing, that's where he broke his teeth.
Uh-oh.
That's where he broke them in.
Yep. Yeah, we were started right here. Okay. We're here for the Act 457 plan. We have the specialist with us today to explain everything that we need to know. And so I'll let you start off.
Okay. Well, first of all, thank you for allowing me to come talk to you. My name's Diane Calhoun. I'm from the Trustees Insurance Fund at PSATS. And excuse me, but I have a cold. I'm dealing with these allergies, so I'm having a little bit of trouble hearing. So if I ask you to repeat yourself, I apologize in advance. I have a presentation prepared, but if you would rather take the time to address your questions that you have, that's fine.
I think if it's okay with the board, I'd like to hear your presentation. They may
Okay.
generate some questions.
Okay, that's fine. That's no problem. And if you want to look at the packet that I provided to you, I took these slides. This is what we generally do when we're working with our service partners. We do like a quarterly webinar, and these are some of the slides that we use during that webinar. Okay. The Trustees Insurance Fund works in partnership with other companies to provide this, to administer this 457 plan to our member townships. We work with Nationwide. Nationwide is the custodian of the assets of the plan. Whatever the contributions are that your employees would contribute, they're held with Nationwide. We work with mutual fund companies, and we also work with Summit Financial. Summit Financial is also the administrator of our defined benefit pension plan. So we have a fairly long history of working with them. They work with us to provide administrative services for the plan. They do all the investment counseling. I'm not a licensed broker, so I'm not allowed to talk about the investment options that you have with the plan. That's where we call in the experts from Summit Financial to counsel your employees on what plans, what funds to choose. They also do due diligence of the funds, the mutual funds, to make sure they're performing properly and meeting their expectations. They do that on a quarterly basis, and they present that to our trustees whenever our trustees meet 3 times a year. So they do watch the mutual funds to make sure that they are performing up to expectations. So we're not in this just on our own. We have the expert guidance behind us to help us administer this plan. To be eligible for the plan, you have to be either a full or a part-time employee of the township. And even supervisors, if you're a non-working supervisor, you can contribute your meeting pay to the 457 plan. In addition, if you have any township solicitors or engineers who receive a check from the township for attending meetings, they could also be a participant in the 457 plan. And there's immediate plan entry date. If you were interested in starting the plan, once we got the paperwork set up, you could begin it as early as your next payroll system. On the next slide, this is the contributions are taken from the employees' paychecks. So they would complete a form where they would choose the mutual funds that they want to have their money invested in. They would let you know how much they want to withhold from each of their checks, and then that money would be federal tax. It would be pre-tax for federal tax only. And the IRS sets limitations each year. So this is 18,000 and the 6,000 will change on an annual basis. For 2015, an employee can defer up to $18,000 if they are under the age of 50. If they're 50 years or older, they can defer a total of $24,000 annually. Something new that we added to the plan back in 2011, we also opened the plan up that you can choose the Roth option. The difference between the two, the pre-tax contributions, of course, that would go into the plan pre-tax. Roth would be after tax. And with the Roth option, you would pay the taxes now, and then when it comes time for retirement, you would receive tax-free distributions at retirement. And really, that's an individual choice as to how your individual employees may feel is the best option for them. We have this very same plan as PSET's employees. I do 50% of mine through the pre-tax and then 50% through Roth. That way when it comes retirement time, you know, you just never know what the tax tables are going to look like at your retirement. So with the traditional 457 plan, it's pre-tax contributions, it's tax-deferred growth, and then you are taxed on your distributions when you reach retirement age. And then with Roth, it's post-tax contributions, tax-free growth, and tax-free distributions at retirement. On the next sheet, we just have a table that, you know, if your employees are trying to decide, well, which do you think is the best option for me? If you think you're going to be in a lower tax bracket in retirement, then choose the pre-tax, you know, pay taxes at retirement when you're in a lower tax bracket. If it's vice versa, then you probably want to do the Roth option, pay the taxes now, and take the tax-free distributions at retirement. And there's a few other examples there as well as to which option may work the best for you. The next slide just gives an example of somebody who's having 6% of their salary withheld. It makes a difference in the amount of taxes, and it'll help the township too. It'll save on your federal tax that you would be submitting on a quarterly basis. Just gives you a different view at 4 different salary levels. Question that comes up a lot of times is on the next slide, access to your funds. Let's say that, you know, you put all this money back, you know, how do I get it? How do I get access to it? If you terminate from the plan, you have the choice to either let the money in the plan, and it won't, of course, it won't grow from contributions, but it would continue to grow if there's earnings on the funds that you have it invested in. Or when you terminate, you can transfer the money to another IRA, another 457 plan, a 401k plan. So you would have access to that as an individual employee.
So you're not forced to move it?
They're not forced to move it,
Okay.
That's correct. Right. You also have access to the funds at retirement. Retirement age in the plan is 65. If you have an unforeseeable emergency, and I have a slide on the next slide, we'll go into that in a little bit more detail. There is a way that you can get access to your funds if you have an unforeseeable emergency. The plan does not allow for loans, so the only way that you would be able to use that money is if it was classified as an unforeseeable emergency. Something that's very heavily regulated by the IRS, so there are very strict guidelines that we would have to follow if you do have an employee who would need access to their funds due to a situation that's classified as an unforeseeable emergency. Another way to have access to your funds is if you die, and one of the forms that your employees would complete is a beneficiary form, so you would name your beneficiaries up front. A quadro is a divorce. disability, and then also at age 70 and a half, you would have access to your funds if you haven't started to draw by that time. Okay, the next page, we have the unforeseeable emergencies. An unforeseeable emergency is a severe hardship that results from a sudden illness, a disability, or property loss or something like that. And like I said, it's under strict IRS guidelines. You can't use it for, if you have a child that's getting married or a child that's going to college, it can't be used for something like that. That's not classified as an unforeseeable emergency. But if you're faced foreclosure or eviction from your primary residence, unreimbursed medical expenses, funeral expenses, you had a hurricane that went through and wiped out part of your home, that would also be classified as an unforeseeable emergency. The way this whole process works is that we would have to have some proof of the dollar amount that you would need to withdraw from your plan, and that's all that you would be able to take from your plan. So there has to be some actual proof, like an invoice that you would submit, and that's the amount that you would be given for the unforeseeable emergency. So the purpose of the plan is really to help your employees save additional money for retirement. So they make it difficult for them to take money out of the plan. So because the purpose is for it to be there for retirement. And then I also have a slide, what happens if the employment terminates? They can spend the distribution, however, there would be a penalty. Or they can leave it in the plan or roll it over into another type of plan. Some of the administrative features of the 457 plan, the individuals can make changes in their investments at any time. There's no set limit as to the number of times that they can make changes throughout the course of the year. And they can do that, they can set up an account on the Nationwide website, and they can do it online, or there's also an 800 number that they can call and do it by phone. Also, you can, if you set up that account online on the Nationwide website, you can go on and view your account balance at any time. In addition to that, Nationwide will provide each of the participants with a quarterly report that would be mailed to their home address. Also, you can change your contributions at any time throughout the year. Just ask that it be done for the next pay period. So if your pay periods, if you, like Helen, if you wanted them to have that in by the first of the month, so that it would be easier for you to have everything set up, then that would be something that you could establish internally. And while you can change your contributions at any time, you can also stop your contributions at any time. If you have something that, an emergency arises and you need to put that money towards something else, you can just ask that the contributions be stopped. And then they can be started up again whenever you're able to do so. With the 457 plan, all of the individual employees control their own investments. So as the township, you have no fiduciary responsibility. This is all on the individual. So, the individuals can't come back to you and say, well, you didn't invest my money very well, so why didn't I get more at retirement? This is all on the individual. You have nothing. The individual has two options for choosing their plans. They can do it on their own. The Nationwide provides us with several different mutual funds, and it's all mutual funds. If the employee is someone who follows the stock market and they like to dabble with that sort of thing, they can choose the mutual funds and set up their own portfolio based on whatever they wish to choose. Nationwide has also set up an option that's called Do It For Me. The do-it-for-me approach uses what they call target maturity funds. The target maturity funds are geared towards your anticipated year of retirement. And on the last page, I have a list of all of the target maturity funds. Now we're going to be adding 2 more effective June 1st. We're going to be adding a 2055 and a 2060 because we're finding that we're having some younger people participate in the plan, so we need to have some more options available. If you choose one of these target maturity funds, as you reach your retirement age, get closer to your retirement age, it automatically shifts. The contributions shift more towards the bonds and the fixed funds and less towards equity. That way you run less of a risk of losing a lot of your money that you've built up as you get closer to retirement. With the target maturity funds, Vanguard is doing all of the work, so you don't really have to do anything to monitor the progress of your investments. I would say about 90% of the participants that we currently have in the 457 plan are in these target maturity funds. I also gave you the blue folder. And if we look inside the blue folder, in the front pocket, there's a multi-paged packet of papers that's stapled together. And in this booklet on page 13, there's a page devoted to each mutual fund that's available in the plan. So this just gives you some information. These are called the Morningstar reports. It gives you a Morningstar report for each mutual fund. There's also a page devoted to each target fund as well. Now this is the part that gets a little confusing for the employees. You know, when they get to the point where they're trying to decide, well, how do I want to choose? How do I know which funds to choose? What are the best options for me? That's when I call in the investment advisors from Summit Financial, because they can sit down, they work with this stuff every day. They can sit down and work with each of your employees and help them choose the funds that would work best for them.
Now, throughout the year, making changes to their portfolios, is there fees attached for them to, like if I wanted to go to my company that I currently have for my 401k, if I get 2 inquiries a year, after that, there's a fee that comes out of my investment for their services and assisting me throughout the year beyond the 2 free ones.
There's no additional fee from us or from Summit Financial.
Okay.
The only fees that they would see, and it's not because of the number of times that they're making changes, there's just mutual fund fees that would be netted out of their earnings. But there is no, it's the number of times that you make changes to your portfolio is basically unlimited with this plan.
Okay.
So that's basically how the plan works from an employee's perspective. Now, if your township was interested in the plan, what do you have to do to get started? And on the front of the folder, I have some sheets that I attached that is the paperwork that the township would need to get started in the plan. The first sheet is just basically what we just talked about, you know, what is a 457 plan and the advantages and who can contribute. The yellow sheet of paper is an installation checklist. And this is just basically a sheet where you're giving us the contact information, who's going to be your primary contact from the township for the plan. The 457 plan will be in the name of the township. However, the township is not responsible for any of the investment options. That's strictly up to the employees. And while we're looking at this yellow sheet, just to Helen, I just want to explain that when you would withhold the contributions on the paychecks, okay, and then on a monthly or a quarterly basis, whichever works best for you, you would actually log on to the Nationwide website and you would record those contributions by employee, and then that would initiate an ACH request.
Okay,
And then Nationwide would withdraw that money directly from your account.
okay.
So it's a very simple and easy process.
So that's another thing you guys have to approve. That's you're using the ACH for it.
Okay. Well, you can do it by check too.
Yeah, but I'm seeing the costs.
Yeah, there's a little bit of a difference in the cost. You're right. Yeah, we'll go over that then too. Okay. After the yellow sheet, we have a supplemental participation agreement. This is just an agreement between the township and the trustees of the Pennsylvania Municipalities Pension Trust to sign up for the 457 plan. It's basically like a resolution, and you're just agreeing to participate in the plan. Next, we have the ordinance, which your township already adopted the ordinance for the Pennsylvania Municipalities Pension Trust for your defined benefit plans. So this part's already done. You don't have to worry about that. Following the ordinance, I have a copy of the legal ad, which we don't have to worry about that. There will be no advertisement of an ordinance. And then the lavender sheet is just an order form for these retirement guidebooks, which is what the blue folders are, if you needed some additional ones to distribute to your employees. Now, if we look back at the front sheet, what starts out at the top, what is a 457 plan? There's a table about 2/3 of the way down with the costs of the plan. PSAT charges an administrative fee. This is an annual administrative fee that we bill you for. And usually it's billed around the mid part of the year. It's based on the number of employees who are participating. That's not the number of employees in your township, just the participating employees. So if you have less than 5 employees and you do the ACH transfers, our annual cost would be $200 a year. If you do a check and you mail it in, then it's $300 because there's a little bit more administrative work involved in that. So there's the breakdown is based on the number of employees participating, not total employees in the township.
And this would be the only fee?
That's the only fee that you would be billed for, right?
Okay.
Now there are mutual fund fees, but those would be netted out of the earnings of the individual employees.
Okay.
Questions for me?
What is our current pension plan?
Well, you have two plans. You currently have a defined benefit pension plan. You have one for your non-uniform employees and one for the police. 2 separate plans.
Is this in conjunction with our current pension plan, or is this addition, or is will this replace our current pension plan? As in meaning that they would have that one or this one, or?
You could do it, I guess you could do it either way. Now, you could do it in addition and set it up as employee only. And basically what you would be doing is that you would be giving the employees another opportunity to save for retirement. If you did let's say you wanted to terminate your other plans, there's a couple decisions that you would have to make. And if you decided to do that, what happens a lot of times, you have some employees who are not, I did a little bit of research on this. In your employee plan, you currently have 3 employees, 3 active employees who are on the plan. Only 1 is fully vested. So you would have 2 who are, at the current time, not vested.
Steve and Tom.
Yes.
If you decided to terminate that plan, There are no guidelines. Act 205 doesn't give any guidelines as to what you have to do, but most times municipalities will grant those two employees who are not currently vested, they would grant them that vested benefit.
And we have to decide that? Okay.
Yeah.
And our uniform, when due to the time frame on it, it's not effective for anybody.
You have two employees two active employees on the plan, and neither of them are vested.
That's right, and they never will be.
And vesting's 12 years in that plan,
That's
right?
correct.
Yeah.
But
So the only one that's eligible for that is Alan Houck.
Yes,
Right, that is
When he
correct.
turns 65.
yeah.
Right, and that's not until 2026.
That's
Yeah.
okay, that's just want to clear that up. That
Yeah.
There's nobody else in the
Who
uniform.
was that individual?
Huh?
Who was that individual?
That was our ex-chief,
Okay.
Okay.
Alan.
What about Dave Reed? He's vested, but he's not with us anymore.
He's vested in the non-uniform plan.
Yes.
Right, date of eligible for retirement, September 1st of 2030.
Okay.
So what you would have to do, I mean, that won't go away. You still, would owe them a pension benefit. So you'd have to, that's something we'd have to work out with the actuary, what your options would be, either to offer them a lump sum payout, or you could purchase an annuity. I don't believe annuities are very affordable right now, so, unfortunately with the low interest rates, that might not be a good option. But I did notice too, like your plan, your employee plan, the way it's currently set up, you're fully funded. So your distress level is 0, which is great. That's the best. You can't get any better than that. You're not getting any state aid, but your only cost in the plan is basically the administrative costs.
Yes. Yeah.
So it's not costing you much. The police plan, you are getting state aid, and it's almost covering the entire cost of.
Actually, the state aid last year was something like $8 extra.
Right, it was very, very close. So the state aid is doing a great job right now of covering the cost, because police officers are considered 2 units. So you get 2 units of state aid for each officer, so you're getting a total of 4 units of state aid. State aid's been running around $3,500 a unit. So you're getting close to the cost of your MMO to cover your plan. So you're in a good situation, and also that plan.
And that's the one that changed from what was investment 7 up to what now 12.
12,
13.
yes.
12,
Okay.
right.
So
Yeah.
Yeah,
My memory serves me right.
yeah.
Used to be invested at 7, Alan was invested at 7,
Yeah,
and now it takes 12 years of continuous service before
Right.
you can be vested.
That's correct.
That's correct.
Yeah. Yeah, now, the actuary is currently working on the actuarial valuation reports as of January 1st, 2015. So this will be the first valuation report that he's done since you changed the police plan. But I don't think we're going to see very much change in the funded ratio or anything. It'll be interesting to see. I'm anxious to take a look at that when we get it. So, that's strictly a township decision, but like I said, there are no guidelines, there are no government guidelines about if you terminate the plan, do you have to vest the employees who are currently not vested? But you're taking away their ability to ever vest in a pension plan if you terminate the plan. So what most municipalities do, they automatically vest them, which means they will earn a benefit.
I tried to talk my 2 employees out here to come along in, but they didn't seem much interest.
you didn't tell them I had the time their checks to be signed?
Yeah, I couldn't get them to come in. I couldn't get them to draw much interest in, the first question was, what's it gonna cost me? I said, gonna be something out of your paycheck, but I have to talk to them about it tomorrow again.
Okay, all right.
Okay.
And that's the best thing to do, is discuss it with your employees, find out if there is any interest in starting a plan
Our
like this.
current pension plan, how much of the ratio is it employee township in contributing to that?
The
Employees do not contribute.
Yeah,
They don't
they
contribute
do
either.
not. It's all in the
tax-
township.
It's all township.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
and then,
And that's what the state and government and federal government has been trying to figure out how to get out of the pension, not get out of the pension plans, but keep money in the
shifting.
pension plans to make sure people are secure, but transfer over where people are
Right.
more in control of their investments
Right,
and less government involvement.
right.
Okay.
Yeah. And both of your plans, both your defined benefit plans, you could add employee contributions but that's not buying the employees any additional benefit.
Right.
That's just helping to fund the township's portion of the cost.
Now, we keep hearing in the news about, and even through PSAT, information sent out that pension plans are in danger, state, all these pension plans. From what I gather, from what you said so far, that we're very solid in our
Right.
pension plan. We're not in danger or stuff like that.
No, the only thing that we're keeping a close eye on at PSATs, and I was just at a meeting on Tuesday of the Public Employee Retirement Commission, their Municipal Pension Advisory Committee. They're trying to get legislation passed right now for the SERS and the PSERS, which is the State Employees Retirement System and the public school, you're right, the teachers' retirement system. And they're going to basically they're trying to do away with the defined benefit plan and get everybody into a defined contribution plan. So it won't have any impact on those who have already earned their retirement benefit, but for future hires, it's going to be a drastic decrease in the benefits that, you know, they're used to seeing as teachers. So, but we hear rumblings every now and then at PSATs about them trying to consolidate all municipal pension plans into one state system, into one state plan. So we keep a close eye on that. But so far, it's not really gained any ground to go anywhere.
So currently, we could keep the current pension plan and offer this as an additional investment for their future retirement. Or eventually, we could decide to get away from the pension plan and go strictly to this 401k plan.
Right, right. And what you could do also, if you're thinking about, I don't know if you have any plans to hire any new employees in the near future, maybe start up this kind of a plan for the new hires. And that way you're, as the folks who are on these two current plans reach retirement age and start drawing benefits, then you're not adding any additional liability to these two plans.
But then the pension plan stops getting funded.
Right, you have to be careful with that, you're right.
And we
'cause you
gotta make
could-
sure that those that are vested and those that are drawing from it, there's money there for them.
Right, you have to watch, because you don't want to lose your state aid, since
Right.
since that police fund is,
Yeah.
the police plan is almost 100% funded with state aid. Yeah.
So,
Yeah,
let me-
there's,
so we would be, if we kept both plans, we would pay for our defined benefit, like the MMO already,
right,
and then also the contributions from the employees for the Act 457 plan.
well, the contributions would come from the employees'
Yeah,
paychecks, right?
other than the 200 or whatever, the yearly
Right.
fee.
Right, that's correct.
Okay.
And how much of it was it 10%, or was there a limit on 20% of their paycheck, 30% of their, is there a limit on what?
There's
Okay.
no minimum, and the only maximum that's set is
Is
what the
the-
IRS sets.
The 18,000?
Right. Yeah, and
whatever.
the 24,000, right. Yeah, there's no minimum, and, we always stress that when we go out and talk to the employees, even if you can only put $10 a pay in, at least it's something, it's giving you a start. And I know a lot of younger employees can't afford a lot, to put a lot in, but anything is better than nothing.
any other questions?
Now, a lot of the dangers with the pension plans are that the state or government agencies dipped into those funds for investments elsewhere and they just never came back. Is that some of the problems that they're facing in those pension plans? Or is that what's getting them in trouble that they're in trouble?
You mean for like
There's more people taking out than putting in?
You mean for like the teachers'
Yeah,
plans
yeah,
and
correct.
the
Because
the
almost
state
like even
employees?
municipalities, their funds are in trouble too.
Right.
So what got them in trouble?
I know for the, like what they call the SERS and the PSERS, back in the early 2000s, I think the investments were doing really well. And each year, you're to put in an MMO amount, which is a minimum municipal obligation. And I think that full amount was not being put into each of those plans back in the early 2000s because the investments were doing so well. Now they could have used that additional money. Had that extra money been put in there, that would have definitely helped the funding deficit. As far as the municipal pension plans, I'm not really sure. I can't really speak as to what might be causing some of their problems. Because, back in 2008, when we had the downturn in the stock market, yes, some municipal pension plans did see a big hit if they were invested in the stock market. I know that your employee plan has a 50-50 portfolio, meaning that 50% is in equity, 50% is in bonds and fixed funds. And I don't recall what the impact was in 2008. Your police plan is in 100% fixed fund, so that's a guaranteed return of about 3%. So there is no risk involved with your police fund. So, but I don't know. I can't really speak as to what might be the issue with the other municipalities.
Are we seeing like a 13%, or we're looking at 8%? What's the average of what we're seeing? You guarantee 3% because that's guaranteed, but on the risk market.
Right.
So what are we looking at, 18%?
No, I think it varies from year to year.
Right.
2013 was a great year. 2014 was just mediocre. I believe in 2014 it may have only been 6 or 7%. But yeah, the year before that we were in the double digits as far as returns. Just varies. I don't know what this year will bring.
It's not looking much better.
No, it's not.
Any other comments, questions?
Okay. If you'd like me to leave these here, I can, and that way if you want to just distribute them to the employees to take a look at, that's no problem.
Okay.
Anything comes up, Helen, you can just give me a call.
Yeah.
And do you want these for the employees too, just to look at as well? Or?
Probably bring up more questions than not, but yeah.
Okay, all right.
Helen, what is the dollar amount that the township invests every year in the pension plan?
It changes. I didn't bring my budget over.
I have that in
Oh, you
my
have it?
folder here.
Okay.
Let me just see.
I know we were doing 2,000, 3,000 some odd for the non-uniform. And this year it was 892, I think it was, for our portion. The police plan obviously went up a lot. It was
Right, it did.
16,000
16,900.
this year and 16 last year. Oh wait, I have that.
Actually, 2014 was the first,
Yeah,
first big year. Yeah, that was 16,700, and this year it was 16,900.
yes.
And that was because of the addition of the 2 officers.
And for 2014, we got back and state aid 16,748 versus 16,743.
Yeah, so you actually got excess state aid, and that $5.81 excess went into the pension
Yep.
plan.
We don't know, we won't get state aid information until around September.
September.
And what is our contribution for regular employees?
Well, for 2015 was 892, 2014 was 112, 13 was 3,669, 12 is 3,796, And 11 was 2,437. And I think that was because we were catching up with other, for our MMOs. That's our minimum obligations. We haven't been putting extra other than that in it. And I only went back to
So the warning
2001.
years that we were not meeting the MMO.
Oh, we met MMO the whole time I've been here.
Yeah. you
Oh,
always
yeah.
have, Yeah.
But you kept playing catch up, so. it's-
Well, they were lower, then they went up, and then now they're going back lower.
Okay.
Don't know why?
Well, at one time, you had more employees on the plan too, I believe, than 3.
Yes.
Yeah, so that would
Yeah,
make a
because
difference,
before it's
too.
Tom and Steve, because there was
Dennis,
Dennis, Dave,
Dave.
me, Bob.
Alan,
Well, Alan was on the police.
Dave's on the police.
Yeah, so we had 4 on the regular, and
4.
1 on there. And then Dennis wasn't on it. And when Dave left, he wasn't on it. So it's just me, Bob left.
Bob.
So there was me.
Mhm.
But then they started paying in when they went full-time. So there's, the 3 years started to go up again. Now our MMO's coming down again.
Right. The more employees you have on the plan, the higher that MMO is going to be.
Mhm.
So,
Yeah, I was really shocked that 2014 as being $112, and that was it for us.
And that was all just administrative. Well,
Yeah, that's it.
That's it.
And actually, since we've gone down for the thousands, it's all been only administrative.
That's correct, because you're fully funded. You're not paying. That's a good place to be.
Yes.
Yeah, good place to be.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So the $899 would be the 3 of the guys and me.
Is that on your telephone number if we have questions?
Yeah, I don't know if is my card inside here.
Don't see it.
No, it's not. I have some cards with me. Here you go. Let's give each one of these. Helen, do you want my?
No, I know how to
You
get
have-
it.
Yeah, you probably have my number on speed dial. All right, well, thank you very much. I really appreciate the opportunity to talk to you and answer your questions.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, I put on here just because I need to know whether you guys want to decide on this tonight or wait until the supervisors meeting. The school district's building permit plans are ready to be issued.
Mhm.
They asked for that waiver of the, where is it? They request to pay the base fee, and there's no zoning fees at all. I got the numbers on what it's going to cost for those permits. The inspection is an escrow, which means that, you guys know how escrows work. What's not used is going to be paid back to them. The plan review fee is for all 5 plans that they have.
Mhm.
We have done in the past waivers of fees, but we've never waived the building inspector's fees. We've waived zoning fees, we've waived our fees, and the UCC fee. It's not a whole lot of money. We're talking $16 with the UC fee and our fee. That's it. There is no zoning fees. If you gentlemen wish to waive, or even think about waiving, the plan review fee, that's going to have to come out of somewhere. So you want to think about it?
I'm willing to waive our small fees, but not the rest of them, Helen. I don't know how we've never done that.
We've never done the inspection fees
No,
or the plan review fee before, no. We've always said they have to be paid.
so I don't know what the wish of the board is, but that was their request. They had
Yeah.
Mr. Smith had called and talked to me about whether he even thought it was worth putting it in, and I told him, I said, the inspection fees, review fees, you know,
I know.
they're like they're standard for everybody.
Mm-hmm. And if you wanted to waive that the school district and pay for them, that means it has to come out somewhere from us.
And I guess if you're to waive those review fees and things change halfway down the course, where does that additional fees and stuff come from? If there's more inspection fees than what
We bill them like we've done the
that's
two.
correct.
We've had to do two because they had to do
I had to
extras.
that before.
But the 10,000 is an escrow. Bob really doesn't, that's the inspection escrow. He really doesn't think it's gonna cost that much.
Yeah.
So whatever's left out of that, they'll get back.
Which could cover the review fees.
Yeah, but you need to get the money up front.
Yeah, exactly, so.
I only brought it up today because the plan's all ready to be issued. So that's, if you want to think about it,
You can, or you can act on it.
yeah.
I gave my opinion to Mr. Smith when he asked me about it. I said I'd do what I could, but I said the amount of what you're doing down there on a large project like they're doing down there, commercial down there, I said, I don't know how that we could look at waiving fees, because there's got to be someone coming along in the future with the same thing and want the same thing. Not,
I know.
I would wish the board, going to table till the next meeting? Or
I
act upon that?
make the motion that we table it until next meeting.
Okay.
I second the motion.
Okay, motion made with a second. All those in favor give their consent by saying aye.
Aye.
Ayes have it. I hated to hold that project up. That should have been settled here. Now,
Just one question.
you're holding her project up.
Don't need a motion or anything. We have, Alicia Hines has rented the pavilion for June 14th, and she wants to put one of those bouncing play areas that blow up with air out here on the basketball court. The company in Lancaster that supplies these bouncing houses has insurance, which I'd get a copy of their insurance.
Mhm.
So, you guys have any objection to it?
No, I don't care.
You said that their goal was to have this project finished by the end of August.
The three of the buildings.
The 3 of the 5.
3 of the 5 by end of August. Now, this is HVAC and boiler type things are changing.
Extensive amount of work to be
Yes.
done in the
Yes.
summertime. That,
Yeah.
at the present time, the floor company's work that we have with our 2 sons where I used to work is based in 3 months of the summertime anymore. It's all energy projects, all of them. They come in there and they just pound those jobs to get them done before school's back in.
Okay, then I'd like to do this. I'd like to make a motion to rescind my motion.
Okay. Okay.
Okay?
Thank you.
And to re-bring this back to the table for discussion today.
Do I hear a second?
I second the motion.
Motion made with a second. All those in favor give their consent by saying aye. Ayes have it, so
Okay.
ordered. Back on the table on the,
Just because I want to make sure that they get this project done before school opens the doors and stuff like that, whatever. Because you definitely don't want construction equipment around the kids trying to in and out of the school and noise and all that stuff, so. I agree with the chairman is that, you know, to waive these fees is that they have to come from somewhere. We set the precedent. Now, I understand that the school is a nonprofit. It is an entity of our township. But we didn't budget for this to assume any. And in their letter, it says that, you know, the school's limited on funds for repairs and renovations. I don't know how long they knew this was coming and why didn't they budget for it? So they're not here for me to answer those questions.
No.
So in my view, I would say at this point here, you know, these fees that they're requested here, I guess it's from Panoni's
Yeah,
office.
yes.
That I am not in favor of waiving those fees.
Okay.
How about our fees?
How about our fees? The township $12? I know, it
Those
sounds,
I don't have a problem with.
it sounds piddly, but
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
$16.
Yeah, those I don't have a problem with, it's just, again, not knowing, is that 10,000 gonna get chewed up, and then we have to go back, and,
Oh, I think the only place we know in the past is we waived some building fees, some building fees for burn downs or for people replacing,
Yes.
We waived some small fees like that.
We've waived the zonings, we waived everything we could.
Everything we could in the past. We've done that where we could. But I don't know where we've ever went into anything this extensive,
Oh, no.
you know what I'm saying, Brian?
Yep.
And I do know those projects down there they're fast tracked when they start them and everything's ready to go for them, isn't it?
All I have to do is issue the permit
So.
and get the money.
That's what they're looking for.
yeah.
I'd give them, they could move forward with it.
Yeah.
I'll thank the board for consideration. of the
Motions?
Motion.
Brian
I
had,
think I took what Brian said as a motion.
Well,
Yeah.
I was just it was discussion, so.
Okay,
Yeah, discussion,
okay.
so,
So we need to form a motion.
okay, so I'd like to make an informal motion that we waive all the smaller fees.
all the township
The
fees.
township fees, but we do not request a waiving of the fees from the Pannoni
Yeah.
engineer. Do I need to list the
No,
name?
no.
Do not request, I don't, what?
No, at their request, we do not approve their request for those items to be
Waived.
waived.
Yeah.
Is that your motion?
Yes.
I second the motion.
Motion made with a second. All those in favor give their consent by saying aye. Ayes have it. Thank you for your consideration of that, Helen. See if they can get their permit. as
Oh, I'll
quick
get
as
it done
they can.
tomorrow.
Okay? I know that they're anxious to have it in place.
I have nothing else.
Okay, I'll make a motion, we adjourn.
I second the motion.
Motion made,